Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another Genshin Impact video, and what I got for you today is the final challenge of the Fandom Flow event. I'm here with a guide for the Elephant versus the Whale challenge. In this challenge, I'm going to go over the enemies, my team composition, some good recommended characters, and also I'm just going to talk you guys through what I'm thinking as I'm doing the challenge. So let's get into the Elephant versus the Whale. So firstly, I'll be going over the Extreme Challenge, and then later in the video, I'm going to be going over the Okuden Difficulty. Timestamps for both will be down in the description below. So before we jump into team composition, we need to talk about what enemies we'll be fighting. For both the Extreme Difficulty and the Okuden Difficulty, you'll be fighting Abyss Heralds and Abyss Lectors. Specifically for the Extreme Difficulty, you'll be fighting one Abyss Herald, and then also after you kill him, you'll be fighting one Abyss Lector. Both enemies put up their respective elemental shields, and the best element to take care of both these shields universally is the Cryo element. Whilst Pyro can do it, and Anemo and Geo can also do it, Cryo is the most effective out of all of them. I wouldn't recommend you guys take any Electro characters in there, or Hydro characters, seeing as you can kind of go against the wrong elemental enemy, and also not be as effective as it possibly can be. So even if you are taking in a low level character, they would still be more effective at that level than a character of the same element at a higher level. Going on to what characters I would recommend use, pretty much any Cryo character is viable, usable, and 100% worth taking in, regardless of level. But two characters stand out from the rest, and that is Chongyun and Ayaka. Chongyun is the 4-star variant that I would recommend. His Cryo application is, I think, the highest out of all the other characters in terms of 4 stars. And so that's really what you need to deal with the Abyss Lectors and Abyss Heralds shields once you get them to 20%. Ayaka, on the other hand, if you've put in a bit of money or you've just gotten a bit lucky, she's the 5-star variant that I would recommend for Cryo application, seeing as she even outshines Chongyun's. These are the two characters I would recommend you take in. Pretty much I would say if you don't have them, you're going to struggle a fair bit with dealing with the shields. Other than that, you just want a main DPS, you want a high damaging main DPS on top of Chongyun or Ayaka. And now going on to what characters I'll be using for the Extreme Challenge. My main character and main DPS will be Yen Fei. She's running 4-set Crimson Witch. Second character is Zhongli. He's there for the defensive capabilities of his shield. He'll be running 4-set Tenacity of the Millilith. Chongyun in the third position, mainly there for the Cryo application that he can provide. I don't really care or know what he's running. He's just there for the Cryo damage. And Barbara in the final position there just for any emergency healing she needs or I need. She's running any amount of HP artifacts I can find. The challenge affix here is a pretty cool one. So to quickly summarize, when carrying Electro Granum, characters in the party gain a 25% cooldown reduction, as well as normal and charge attack speed increased by 25%. On top of that, normal and charge attacks will cause an elemental explosion when hitting an enemy, and the element that's chosen will be random out of Electro, Pyro, Cryo, and Hydro, and this elemental blast can only occur every 2 seconds. The challenge criteria for this one is super simple. You just have to kill 2 enemies within 180 seconds, which is 3 minutes, and you have to do all this without a single character dying. Starting the challenge here, I'm going to talk to you guys about what's going through my head as I'm doing this. So knowing that the challenge affix is like a constant buff of a cooldown reduction and attack speed, you want to keep the Electro Granum on you as much as possible, and also constantly be attacking. The main goal is to get the current enemy to 20% HP so they put on their shield, and so you can then actually start getting them lower and lower till they actually die, obviously. So after a while doing a bunch of damage to them and getting them to activate their shields, you want to use the Cryo character that you chose, be it, you know, I chose Chongyun for the Extreme Challenge, but you could have chosen whatever Cryo character you're comfortable with. But once they put on that shield, you want to use your Cryo character as much as possible, doing Cryo damage to the shield and getting rid of that shield so they actually die. And because in the Extreme Challenge you're fighting each enemy one by one, this won't be too difficult. And so with that being said, best of luck guys. And there you have it, guys. That's the extreme difficulty. Now I'm going to go over the Okuden difficulty, but for this one I'm going to explain a lot less because not a lot of things change. What stays the same are the enemies. You'll be fighting both a Herald and a Lector. My suggested characters still stay the same. Bring cryo characters. I 100% recommend you bring cryo characters. The affix for the actual challenge doesn't change. It's still that 25% attack speed with 25% cooldown reduction. And the completion criteria changes very slightly. You just have a minute and a half to kill both enemies. Now going on to what does change. All I change for this one is my team composition, because now I know that I need a lot more damage and you're fighting 2 enemies at once instead of 1 by 1. I changed my main DPS from a Yanfei to a Xiao. I still keep that Zhongli in there, and I replace Barbara with Ayaka just so I can have a lot more cryo application. Now with all that being said, let's jump into the Okuden difficulty. So now jumping into the Okuden difficulty here, obviously, we're going to be fighting 2 of the enemies at once, 1 Abyss Herald, 1 Abyss Lector. And the aim of the game here is if you're running a massively AoE build, you want to get them both to the point where they have their shields up. And that's when you want to start doing your cryo AoE damage to get both the shields down very quickly. Now the reason speed is of the essence in this run is because you only have a minute and a half to kill 1 Lector and 1 Herald. Now in terms of time, that's pretty tight time, and so in this run I'm kind of worried about having the Electro-Granum, but also not too worried, because the time spent getting the Granum could be time spent doing damage, and I do know for a fact that in this run here I do get quite close to the time. The main thing I can say, and the main tip, is constantly be damaging the enemy and try to get them both to the point of having their shields up so you can effectively get their shields down. Now this is going to be one of the harder ones, seeing as it is double Abyss enemies, so a Herald and a Lector. This is a tough one, so don't be discouraged if you don't get it. It is 100% one of the tough ones. And with that, guys, best of luck getting this down. And there you have it, guys. That's everything for the final challenge of the Phantom Flow, the Elephant versus the Whale. I covered both extreme and the Okuden difficulty. If you did enjoy the video, hit that like button, and if you enjoy this guide type content, hit that subscribe button. Thank you all so much for watching. Have an amazing day, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out.